Welcome to students of Baverstock Academy and Baverstock in the City. Before we look at this video, I would like to remind you that you can pause or rewind the video whenever you want to. Also, everything that is in this video is in your workbook. If you haven't got a workbook, then please ask your teacher for one. This video is the first in a series of people and places, and we'll have a look at the United Kingdom, which is abbreviated to UK. Countries within a country, the United Kingdom, the UK. The name United Kingdom refers to the union of what were once 4 separate countries: England, Scotland, Wales, and Ireland. Nowadays, most of Ireland is independent. Only Northern Ireland, that little bit there in green, only Northern Ireland remains part of the United Kingdom. The full and official name of the United Kingdom is the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. It is useful for us to know where the United Kingdom is situated in respect to other countries. The United Kingdom is located off the northwestern coast of continental or mainland Europe. It's here. It is part of Europe, but it is separate from mainland Europe. The shortest distance between the UK and France is that little bit just there, and it's 34 kilometres or 21 miles. Iceland, this country here, is approximately 1,000 kilometres or 621 miles from the top of Scotland. We will now have a look at the flag of the United Kingdom. The flag of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, to give it its full title, is known as the Union flag or the Union Jack. Both terms are correct. The Union flag is made up of the individual flags of 3 of the United Kingdom's countries, the flags of England, Scotland and Northern Ireland. We'll have a look now at the different flags that make up the flag of the United Kingdom. The national flag of England, this one here, is the cross of St. George. ST is the abbreviated form of Saint. It's a red cross on a white background. St. George is the patron saint of England. The national flag of Scotland, this one here, is the cross of St. Andrew, the patron saint of Scotland. It's a diagonal white cross on a blue background. Any diagonal crosses, which are crosses that form an X shape like that, is called a saltire. The third flag that makes up the flag of the United Kingdom is the national flag of Northern Ireland, this one here. And it's the cross of St. Patrick, the patron saint of Ireland. It's a diagonal red cross on a white background and, like the flag of Scotland, is known as a saltire because it's a cross like that in the shape of an X, and they are always known as saltires. So we have the following. We have the flag of England, add that to the flag of Scotland, and we get the original Union flag there. Then Ireland joined the Union, and this flag was added, the flag of St. Patrick to form the current Union flag. But what about Wales? The national flag of Wales is called the Red Dragon, and it looks like that. And St. David is the patron saint of Wales. Why isn't their flag included in the Union flag or the Union Jack? Let us now have a look why. After a battle between Edward, King of England, and Llywelyn ap Gruffydd in 1282, Wales became part of the Kingdom of England. In 1536, the Principality of Wales was formally merged with the Kingdom of England by an Act of Union. This means that Wales is represented on the Union flag. It is included in the Red Cross of St. George. We will now look at each of the countries of the United Kingdom in a little more detail. We will have a look at England first. England is the biggest country in the United Kingdom, and it's shown here in yellow. It contains 83.9% of the population of the United Kingdom, only over 53 million people. In fact, it contains 53,012,456 people. London is not only the capital city of England, it is also the capital of the United Kingdom. London is the largest city in the United Kingdom. We will look at London in more detail in our next video, as well as other towns and cities in England. We'll have a look at Scotland now. Scotland is the second biggest country in the United Kingdom. There it is. It contains 8.4% of the population of the United Kingdom, over 5 million people. In fact, it contains 5,295,000 people. There are approximately 790 islands off the coastline of Scotland, but only around 130 of these are inhabited. As you will see, they're not all shown on this map here. There are some islands on this side of Scotland that aren't shown on this map, and we'll have a look in more detail at the islands of Scotland in a later video. The capital city of Scotland is Edinburgh. The largest city is Glasgow. We will look at Edinburgh in more detail in another video, as well as other towns and cities in Scotland. We'll now move on to Wales. Wales is the third biggest country of the United Kingdom. It contains 4.8% of the population of the United Kingdom, over 3 million people. It contains 3,063,456 people. Cardiff is the capital city, and it's the largest city of Wales. It's also the 10th largest city of the United Kingdom. We will look at Cardiff in more detail in another video, as well as other towns and cities in Wales. Now we will have a look at Northern Ireland, shown here on the map. Northern Ireland is the smallest country of the United Kingdom. It contains 2.9% of the population of the United Kingdom, almost 2 million people. It contains 1,810,863 people. Belfast is the capital city, shown here on the map. It's also the largest city of Northern Ireland. We will look at Belfast in more detail in another video, as well as other towns and cities in Northern Ireland. We have had a look at the 4 countries that make up the United Kingdom. We'll now have a look at Great Britain, which isn't the same as the United Kingdom. So what is Great Britain? Great Britain is the official name given to the 2 kingdoms of England and Scotland and the Principality of Wales. As we know, the Principality of Wales has been part of the Kingdom of England since 1282. In 1707, an Act of Parliament joined the Kingdom of England with the Kingdom of Scotland. These united or joined kingdoms were named Great Britain. We have looked at the United Kingdom and we've looked at Great Britain. We'll now look at the British Isles, which is different again. The British Isles is a term only used in geography, and it refers to the group of islands off the northwest coast of continental Europe. All of this. It includes the island of Great Britain, which we know is England, Scotland, and Wales. It includes the island called Ireland, which is made up of the Republic of Ireland, that bit, and Northern Ireland, that bit. It includes the Isle of Man, which is there, the Channel Islands, which are here, and 6,289 small islands, most of which are off the coast of Scotland. Most but not all. We will have a look at some of these smaller islands in later videos. Before we leave this video, I think it would be useful for us to understand what is meant by the terms town, city, and village. A town is a place where people live. It is larger than a village and usually, but not always, smaller than a city. It will have an area where there are shops and restaurants or cafes, and this will be referred to as the town centre. There may also be some houses or flats, apartments, in the town centre, but most people will live outside the town centre. A town may have a town hall, which is a public building used for offices and meetings of the local or town government. A town may also have a library, where you can borrow books. It may have a theatre, where you can see and listen to concerts or plays. A town will have good transport links. This simply means that you will be able to catch a train or a bus or even a tram to travel into the town and back home again. You can, of course, travel to other places if the town has good transport links. We will have a look now what we mean by the term cities. In the past, a town could only become a city if it had a cathedral, and a cathedral is the main church of an area that has a bishop for its head. However, in the 20th century, which was last century, in the 1900s, it was decided that a town without a cathedral could become a city. City status in the United Kingdom is granted by the Queen or King, whoever's on the throne at the time. At the moment, there are 69 cities in the United Kingdom. 51 cities are in England, 7 are in Scotland, 6 are in Wales, and 5 are in Northern Ireland. London is the largest city in the United Kingdom. Our city, Birmingham, is the second largest city. More than 8 million people live in London. In fact, it's 8,445,066 people that live in London. This is St. Paul's Cathedral, which is one of the cathedrals in London. This one here is St. David's Cathedral in Wales. St. David's in Wales is the smallest city in the United Kingdom, with a population of just 1,408 people. A village is also a place where people live, but it is smaller than a town. They are often located in the countryside, as this one here is, you can see. In the countryside. This is known as a rural area, which is different to an urban area, such as in a town. Transport links can sometimes be poor. For example, there may be only 2 buses a week and no trains. There may be no school in the village and maybe only one shop. Children may have to travel a long way to get to school. Well, that's all for this video. I hope that you have enjoyed it and that you have learned something new about the United Kingdom, Great Britain and the British Isles. Bye-bye.